today, Alex Stein. He's our primetime guest, and we really appreciate him. He's also on Twitter at AlexStein99, Instagram at Alex Stein, and of course, he's got a band.video account. Popular. Now, I don't think this is his best rap. I think it's world class. It's broken the internet. It's super funny because the mic was overdriven. It's not a 100% out of the park grand slam like his previous rap that I think was the best I ever saw. But never fear, we're not having technical difficulties here today like they had in Plano, my old stomping grounds outside Dallas. I literally grew up right by there. No, ladies and gentlemen, we have him via Skype. Do the same rap or more improv here for us in just a moment. But first, let's go to the incredible.
I'm the proof when I'm in a booth, spitting on the mic. It's anti-vax. Putin hates all of them blacks. Putin is a bad racist. Put him in the ground, white or brown. And I'm in plain old town. And you know you just got found. I'm a pimp, I'm a blimp. Unless it's snapping shrimp. No, you can't stop Zelensky, you are so smart. What's a smart? Did somebody flash? No way. What can you say? Vaccinate me straight or gay. I love you and I love to rhyme and grind all the time. And you got that sanitizer. And you know I got that Pfizer. You know I stick it in my vein. Put a bullet in Putin's brain. Do it for the Ukraine. Before I go insane. Let me antibacterial my body at the party, sipping Bacardi. You know the flow, and I am a pimp, cause I am on the blim. Eating lots of steak and shrimp. One more time, I'm 99, and you know I grind and shine. Gas prices way too high. Vladimir Putin needs to die. Gas prices way too high. Vladimir needs to die. I'm the truth in the booth. Take my picture. I'm a winner. I'ma eat you for dinner. Okay.
You want to go to?
I just want to say, I love you. We need to take out Vladimir Putin, like Lindsey Graham said. Thank you, Mary Mullins. I appreciate the time. Peace. God bless you all. Primetime Stein on Instagram. Thank you.
We got you down. We got you down.
The next.
Yeah.
The next speaker is Brian.
So that is clearly satire and total absurdity, but very well done. Alex Stein, you're the number one thing on the web right now, and you're exposing it, causing major debates about what's he talking about. This is incredible. Thank you so much for joining us. What do you want to say for yourself?
Are you kidding, Alex? Listen, I want to tell you something. You are my personal hero. I'm not just saying that. I know a lot of people come on your show with knee pads to kiss your derriere, but I'm telling you, I mean, forget about Building 7, forget about, the destabilization and the controlled demolition of America. I would have never known about that. I was a guy that listened to Howard Stern and kind of believed all the bull crap. And right around 2016, you woke me up realizing about Pizzagate, realizing that these people in power are sick, perverted Satanists. And I'm just telling you, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, because I've always considered myself a comedian, entertainer. But when I realized that we're living in a world of lies, and you showed me those lies, it changed my life. It gave me freedom, and I'm not being sarcastic. I know I joke
No,
around
brother,
on the
listen,
baseball,
and I take that as a huge compliment from a man that said that I'm a pimp, I own a blimp. That is super hard.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm a comedian. I like to joke around. But, Alex, you don't get enough credit. You are one of the most talented entertainers out there. I mean, people want to demonize you and say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. But we know that was created by the CIA after the JFK assassination to demonize people looking to the official story. So when I see that, they're using that same game plan on you because you're so effective, because you're not only smart, you're not only well-versed, but you're entertaining. You're funny. You and I grew up in the same place, Dallas. You're in Rockwall. What I'm saying is we're kind of cut from similar cloths. And that's why I look up to you so much, because you're not afraid to go and blaze your own trail. In this world that everybody wants to be a sheep, everybody wants to fit in. You, sir, have been demonized, been kicked off every single platform, and you're still successful. You're still grinding. I think you're actually even more popular now, even though the numbers might not show it to the mainstream media. But I'm telling you, I owe you a debt of gratitude.
Alex
that
Stein, thank
I
you,
think I
and,
can
and
never
and back at you, brother. Let's talk about Conspiracy Castle, because you don't just do these hilarious raps in front of different city councils. You also go out and do stuff in public with people that's pretty amazing. You also go and try to interview leftists. They attack you, and you're being totally. But the way you handle it is really cool.
Well, listen, the thing is, like, look at this world we're living in. Leah Thomas is a NCAA champion, a person that was born a male that swam on the men's team. And what he is doing is actually destabilizing women's rights. I mean, it's the feminization of men and then the masculinization of women. So we're literally, like you said, in the upside down world. You predicted this, and I know I'm going to stop kissing your derriere, but I'm saying we're too far now. We're almost too far gone where people can actually defend that, because in my mind, we're supposed to protect women. I think we should actually put women on a pedestal. Yet when you let a man take puberty blockers, or hormone blockers or estrogen, whatever the pill is, I'm not even quite sure what they took, and gets to go smash women's dreams. There's women that spent every weekend of their life from high school to college in a swimming pool. They make it to the NCAA championships, and then you get second place and you lose to a person like Leah Thomas. That's a disgrace. That should be a crime. But that's the world we live in, and people don't want to admit it to themselves. We have a self-awareness problem in this country, and you are shining a light on that, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to shine a light on it. When I do these raps, I'm just putting a mirror to the mainstream media, because the mainstream media is so absurd. Anything that comes out of Brian Stelter's mouth, Don Lemon's mouth, if you just repeat that, you sound like a buffoon, because they are such clowns. And sadly, the world we live in, there's not enough people exposing it, in my opinion, Alex.
I totally agree. And soon they're going to have a biological women's league only that bars biological men, even though they should be barred, because men are now dominating track and field, swimming, wrestling, weightlifting, MMA. Biological men are in some cases killing women in the ring, and it's funny to the left.
Alex, this is the thing, is they try to find dirt on me, and all they can say is, oh, you're transphobic. I'm not transphobic. If a person wants to transition their sex when they're an adult, go ahead. They can wear 10 dresses. I don't care. But the idea that you're doing this to children, you're letting 3-year-olds pick their sexuality when they have never even had sex.
And you're coming to confuse them so you can claim that you're the shepherd leading them into this. It's total grooming, and they've even lost Bill Maher. Bill Maher now says it's pedophilia. Leave the freaking kids alone. Keep your damn hands off of them. Let them be innocent.
Yeah, 100%. And this is the thing. You have guys like, I keep on bringing up Howard Stern, but he still does a bit where he has to use you for clout, Alex. I don't know if you see this. I don't watch his show anymore.
It's pretty
terrible.
funny, yeah.
But it's a funny bit, but that shows you how pathetic he is for content, because he's a loser. Because anybody that listens to him, they've woken up by now to his garbage. You know, that he says, oh, you should die if you're not boosted. I mean, these people that are in power, they literally are giving us a bioweapon that is created by multinational corporations that don't care about America. These corporations are globalists. They care about having world dominance. So they want to destabilize America in order to gain power everywhere else. And that's the problem with this country, is we're not run by people. We're run by stockholders of corporations that are able to give the money to the political action committees that make these politicians that I call puppets make decisions that are not in our best interest. Because think about it, it doesn't matter if you're on the right or the left. There's so many rhinos, Dan Crenshaw, all those guys, they're all World Economic Forum. They give us the government likes to TT on us and tell us it's raining. And sadly, it comes from both sides.
I totally agree. Stay right there. It's corrupt, out of control, anti-American, globalist ruling class. As we go to break, you're going to rap for us when we come back, but can you just say for us all as we go to break, I'm a pimp, I own a blimp.
I'm a pimp on a blimp. Eat lots of steak and shrimp. You know, I'm Proton 99. I'm on the ground all the time. Let's go. I'm going to be
I
in the
love it.
studio.
Stay there. I'm a pimp, I own the blimp. Every product and service that I bring listeners is a product and service that I use, that I believe in, that has great customer service and great results, because I am not fly-by-night. I'm not a globalist that wants to rip you off and then launch a new scam and rip you off again. And so over the years, we had a lot of great sponsors, but they got threatened, they got harassed, they got bullied, and so they went away. So in the last decade, I went to selling products directly to the listeners that we can buy and produce and make and certify and know are great. But because of supply chain breakdowns and because of the increased cost of materials, everything else, that model now has been failing, and InfoWars hasn't had the funds to operate. And we've gotten into the red some, and that's been a crisis. But then about a month ago, I locked myself in my office for 8 hours. And I didn't distract myself. I turned off the computers. I turned off the phone. I wouldn't let myself have anything but my coffee maker and some bottled water. And I just wrote down notes of what do I use, what is a great product that will be a sponsor and isn't afraid. And I came up with just a few ideas, and they were all great ideas. Just a few ideas. But the number one idea was something I've experienced, my family's experienced, my listeners have experienced. We've had some of these sponsors in the past of the groups out there that help people do tax preparation, groups that help give people tax advice, people that actually let the public know about the loopholes that the establishment and the elite use, but that the IRS bureaucrats don't want the people to know. So I thought, who was that group that was highly rated that I used years ago and that some of my family used, and that was actually a sponsor many years ago on some of the radio stations I was on? And I was like, it's American Tax Solution. So I went and looked them up, and I'm like, wow, highest rating, Better Business Bureau. I've used them, families used them before. Why didn't I think of this? They've got all these dozens of great services at very, very low prices. In fact, when they come in and help you with the IRS, negotiate on average $10,000 down to $1,000, $100,000 down to $10,000, they just get part of that savings for themselves, and that's how they fund themselves. So you're not out any money, you're just getting the savings. And so I reached out to them, and immediately they said, Alex Jones, let me call my manager. The next day, the owner calls. Huge listeners, huge patriot, populist, Republican donors, daily listeners of the show. Boom. A month later, they come on the show, one of their lawyers, super popular, people love it, because you're getting a high-level tax firm with lawyers, CPAs, and others that just cut right to the chase with the information. They don't rope a dope like other big tax firms or law firms or groups. They just give you the knowledge very, very quickly that you need, and it is a one-stop shop. So visit jonestaxrelief.com today and start your journey towards being informed about this critical issue of taxation in America. And you can also call the toll-free number that's on your screen, 833-900-4285. Ladies and gentlemen, I use these folks. They're amazing. You are literally like a blind man rock climbing or something if you don't have these folks. Don't go at it alone. Get the real experts. We're also supporters of the broadcast today.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the front lines of the war for human liberty. I'm your host, Alex Jones, and the amazing Alex Stein. See how smart he is on air? Looks like Tucker Carlson is as smart as Tucker Carlson. He's also a great comedian. So I know Tucker Carlson, a lot of folks watch and listen, so you can probably say hi to him, Alex. But everybody's saying hi to you. In fact, I bet you're going to end up on Carlson tonight or so if I know him, because this is just a huge story and we love it. We're about to go back to you in a moment. He's told us he will grace us with a live rendition of one of his great political, satirical rap songs. But first, you talk about InfoWars being a 28-year survivor in the fight against the globalists. It's all because of the support and prayer. But we are in the crucible right now, facing 5 trials in the next 8 months. One that starts next month with all of the rigged courts and kangaroo garbage and total fraud, where the Democrats sued us in key areas, but where they knew that it was all controlled. Literally, it's all come out. And we're still going to battle through that and show it and appeal it and never stop fighting. But that will take millions of dollars to have 5 trials that they're telling them are going to last up to 6 weeks apiece, with InfoWarsStore.com. And we've got back in stock vitamin D3 gummies that are delicious and so good for your immune system and your bodies, adults and children. We also have the Fizzy Magnesium, very best you're going to find out there for your whole body, your whole life, and also for better sleep. Doesn't make you sleepy, makes you sleep better, especially if you take it before bedtime. It's really a pre-workout, post-workout, it's just everything. Fizzy Magnesium, highest quality, sold out for 8 months. It's back in stock at InfoWarsStore.com. And Vaso Beats is 40% off. Biotrue Selenium's 40% off. Those are back in stock. The others are 25% off. So thank you all for keeping us on the air. InfoWarsStore.com. We need it now more than ever. And we're a thorn in the globalist side, and we're under major attack, and they're coming after us because they want to get through us to get to you, as President Trump would say. So Alex Stein, please continue. Other points you'd like to make it is anytime you feel like it, just bring us to that magic place you bring everybody.
Well, I want to say this, guys. You need to support Alex. You need to go to InfoWarsStore.com because, listen, this guy is not pumped up by the mainstream legacy media. And anything you hear from the mainstream, I call it the lamestream media, is going to be fake news, like Trump said. So this is one of the few places in the world where you can actually get the real truth. So I'm going to say that support, it doesn't go to some Don Lemon boat party with a bunch of, whatever they do on those boats. It goes to a real man that's actually fighting the globalists personally, and he's being ramrodded in court, which is totally unfair, and we know that he's an innocent man and that it's all BS. But I just want to say, I'm Prime Time 99, so we got to get high vibrational. So for the people at home, I'm a pimp on a blimp, and you know I'm eating steak and shrimp. InfoWarsStore.com. I get it for my mom. Then I play some Donkey Kong, and I wear my big old thong. Lindsey Graham was Putin dead. Put a bullet in his head. Go insane for the Ukraine. Put a bullet in Putin's brain. One more time, I'm 99. And you know I grind inside. And you know I blow your mind. Alex Jones ain't no clown. Kill your butt with a drone. Obama, his wife's a boy. I'ma play you like a toy. You know I am the man. I love Alex Jones. I'm his biggest fan. I'm a pimp on a blimp, and I got lots of shrimp. Don't you know that I flow? That I take it to the flow, to the dome, no clone. And I do it on Alex Jones. And I love you, and I love y'all. We're in Texas, we flex this. You can't stop our shine, cause I'm 99. InfoWars will blow your mind. Let's go, Alex Jones, my hero. Putin zero, you know it's all day long. Vaccinate me in my thong. I love you, AJ. What more can I say?
Beautiful,
You
beautiful,
are
beautiful,
the
beautiful.
real King, I love you, AJ. You're the man.
I
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
that. I appreciate, and you're the best. I love you too. And you're coming to be in studio Friday. But here's the deal. I mean, in studio Sunday. But here's the deal. Please, because the audio was messed up on your super #1 video in the world, tens of millions of views in 24 hours, as you know, #1 trending all over the place. Can you please, or you can wait till the next segment if you need to get your breath, because that was amazing. Can you repeat, or was that just all right off the top of your head, what you're saying about Fauci and the New World Order and the one before? Because we really, we got HD audio from you, and we want people to see the real magic.
No, I'll bring both. I'll have it prepared. And like I said, I'm an improvisationalist. I have a few bars, as they say in the rap game, but I like to go off the dome, Mr. Jones. That's how I do it.
Going off the dome.
Off the dome, and like Obama, I'll kill you with a drone. I mean, come on. Hey, then Alice, let's talk about that seriously. Why are we worried? This is the one serious thing I want to say. This is what makes me so mad. Is Kamala Harris? They're worried about the border between the Ukraine and Russia. Yet we're in Texas. One of my good friends died of a fentanyl drug overdose. Yet they won't even look at our border. I mean, I like to joke around and this and that, but it's actually like an open sore in our country, in our state, and even our own governor, Greg Abbott. They're still not doing enough about it. So I love to joke around and this and that, and I will have fun all day long. But man, it's just really sad that we're about to go into World War III. We're two countries that don't even care about us. Whether it doesn't matter which side you're on. Whether, I mean, I'm not a Putin fan, but I'm also not a Zelensky fan of the Azov Battalion. But I am a fan of Texans. I am a fan of Mexicans. I love Mexicans. I love immigration. But the drugs created by the Chinese fentanyl that's coming through our border that's killing my friends and family, it makes me absolutely sick. So just being able to actually talk to somebody that knows what's
optimistic, but I can't. Once I found out that Ukraine got invaded by Russia, I got chills. I really get chills. I got chills once I saw that news, because it's coming. It's coming. It's coming quick. And some people, they don't know geopolitical politics. They don't know anything. They don't have a mind of their own. They've been taught years to not have a mind of their own because of the public school system, because of college, the indoctrination, and we've become institutionalized as a nation. And it's sad because they're so biased, especially black people, and I'm black. Especially black people are biased on this whole Ukraine-Russia thing, that they are on the side of Ukraine, not knowing anything about anything because they're ignorant.
It is scary.
You know,
Listen, Javon, I appreciate your call. Really, really interesting points. Got some big guests coming up today. Tell you about who they are next segment, and about a huge interview we got coming out very soon. Another big interview that I'm going to be involved in. Because the word's out on it now. It started breaking last night, so I'll let you know about that coming up as well. And we got some really bad news. But the good news is, by knowing the bad news, we're going to be able to stop it. I'll tell you about in about 6 minutes when we start the next segment. Alex Stein will be with us this Sunday, Lord willing. Never know, nuclear war might start. Big earthquake like Japan just had. Who knows? But hopefully he'll be here in studio with us in Austin, coming down from up in the DFW area this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central. But to Alex, we can only salute you. It's got to feel good, because, I mean, I looked into you back whenever you, 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever it was, you had your first big viral videos. You had a lot of other big videos as well before, and done a lot of really cool stuff. And this going and freestyle rapping that's so popular, that's only a small part of what you do. Tell folks about what you do at Conspiracy Castle.
signaling, yet they're destabilizing our country while they do it. So guys, come here, watch this content, and try to absorb it as best you can. And that's why I use humor, Alex, because when you tell people facts like they do in the news, people aren't emotionally invested.
No, I agree. We should make it a mantra to cure ourselves from all this depression. I am the pimp, I own the blimp. Because seriously, what we're saying is people subconsciously are upset because they should be upset because you're not really living in the real world. By getting out of the matrix and by facing it, that's what empowers us. That is a very, very good point. We can find all of the amazing stuff you do, Ben Stein, on YouTube at Conspiracy Castle, Twitter, Alex999, Instagram, and Alex Stein. Congratulations on your massive success, sir.
Oh man, Alex, forget
Yeah,
about it.
I'm going to see you Sunday in studio, man.
Experience
never gone away in Australia or New Zealand. They don't care how unpopular it is or how many people commit suicide or how many businesses go out because it's designed to bankrupt and destroy the show. So what am I upset about? Well, Fauci came out. I'll play the clip here in a moment. Notice he's been missing the last few months, but now the leprechaun, the evil leprechaun, on St. Patrick's Day, the evil garden gnome, the anti-St. Patrick's, pops out of his rat hole and say, oh no, things just can't go back to normal. The voice of doom, Dr. Fauci warns U.S. can face more COVID lockdowns as he admits latest variant said to hit U.S. is less serious than Omicron. We can't just say we're done. No. You've got to separate. And the inventor of the PCR test for COVID admits that it was so light, without the test, you would have never known you even had it. But when it is deadly, you're not given medical treatment if you do get a bad test. You're not given the steroids, you're not given the intravenous, you're not given the ivermectin, you're not given the zinc, you're not given the vitamin D. And so here it is. Fauci warns America could face more COVID lockdowns as cases tick up. And it's all based on a fraudulent PCR test. And so you look at the head of the Canadian Health Ministry. She said, 2 weeks ago, we played the clip here. She said, it's coming back. In late November, we're going to put the controls back in. This is a biomedical tyranny. They're going to release more viruses, not just these lower level variants. And these people must be brought to justice or they're going to continue to launch their same attacks. Pfizer, Moderna, Fauci, Gates, they got caught creating it, caught lying to Congress, caught in gain of function, caught covering up data that the vaccine hurt people and didn't protect them. It wasn't a vaccine. On and 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 on. But now we're supposed to move, it's all over, and move only to the war, which is the new reason for the global ID and the global sanctions. And Congress passes a law that Biden sanction anybody in the world for no reason, including U.S. citizens. It's all about that bio-digital tyranny that Trudeau just did, where he said we can grab your bank account whenever we want, however we want, whenever we want. If you're these truckers, and now they say it's for everybody, and now it's a permanent emergency. And I said, look for Biden to pull that here. And now he's already done it. This is the globalist model. Here's what Fauci had to say.
Jake, it's not too soon if you observe the caveat that's associated with that. And the caveat is we need to be flexible. And if, in fact, we do see a turnaround and a resurgence, we have to be able to pivot and go back to any degree of mitigation that is commensurate with what the situation is. So we can't just say we're done, now we're going to move on. We've got to be able to be flexible because we're dealing with a dynamic situation. Hopefully, the cases will continue to come down as the weather gets warmer, the risk of being indoor is less, and we'll do well, at least for the coming several months. But the one thing that's important, that's a wild card in this, is that there is waning immunity. And we got to make sure that those people...
That's enough. Yeah, we got to have more vaccine, more shots that actually destroy your immune system. And after 8 months with the Pfizer, even less with the Moderna, you are at a lower level of immunity before you have the shot than you had before. It erases your immune system. The great founder and leader and owner of the UFC, who stood up first, said no mask, had the first big event, stood up to the fear, totally vindicated. Here's what he had to say yesterday.
Where did COVID go? Where is it? Weeks ago, we all still had
leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Alex Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest in studio with us. And no, it's not Mike Tyson. Though that's not going to be happening
make sure that you're paying the least amount of possible, because guess what? You're also paying for it at the pump.
Continue on talking about your company and what it does, because I just want people to understand no client's too small, no client is too big, and people should always get different tax advice. You guys cut right the checks.
Absolutely, Alex. No client is too small. No one is too big. Listen, there's a multitude of tax issues you could have, but it kind of comes down to one of three categories, okay? The past, the present, and the future. If you already owe money, we can use government programs and other things that exist that they don't tell you about, but they have to tell me about, because I'm a tax practitioner, and we can use that to lower your liability, okay?
That's past. Let's come back to the present and future. Now, straight ahead with Tyler Bennett, JonesTaxRelief.com, folks. You need to get involved with these guys. You look at their website. You need to take action. Right back. Just this stack right here is so hard, and I refuse to rationalize what's going on and like not making a big deal in my brain and go into Stockholm syndrome. If there's one thing Alex Jones doesn't have, it's the Stockholm gene, where when I'm being abused, I can make excuses for it and just go along with it. I don't have the Stockholm gene, and instead, when people are enslaving me and my family and enslaving you, I get extremely upset about it. And just this stack alone right here is unbelievable. You know what happened? They had 3 more universities with CRISPR gene editors scan the damn COVID-19. And it is 100% made in a lab, and it's 100% made by Moderna, and it's 100% made in 2016. I had family and friends die. They murdered people I know and debilitated other people I care about. I'm so sick of Bill Gates. I'm so sick of Barack Obama. I'm so sick of Hillary Clinton. I can't even look at them anymore. You know, I called it a month ago when the CEO of Pfizer said, oh, we actually make this whole virus is artificial in the lab. We did make COVID-19. People went, what do you mean you made COVID-19? He goes, oh, to off the other virus, just to cover their ass. Now the head of Moderna went on Fox News and admitted, the videos on Infowars.com, that, okay, it's man-made, big deal, because they're caught red-handed with all the top universities. They look at it, they go, oh, like, a 57 Chevy when you see one, or a Dallas Cowboy helmet when you see one, or what a Christmas tree is, or what Santa Claus looks like, or, what George Washington looks like, or what Jesus looks like. I mean, you know what the Hindenburg looked like. And they look at it and they go, God, this is the most ridiculous man-made virus we've ever seen. It's got all the codes, how it was cut together. It's synthetic. None of it's real. It's not even pieces of viruses. The whole damn thing is synthetic. And then I got this little chicken neck weasel up there like it's funny that they made it, that they killed all these people. And then they shut the economy down. And then they murdered all those people and ran around and pissed on us. And then they made hundreds of billions of dollars. And now they're up there giggling and snickering.
tax gap. The tax gap is the difference between how much the IRS says they're going to make and how much they actually do make by taxing the globalists properly. But instead of doing that, they want to hit up the middle class for $600.
Please continue.
So here's the thing. It's like, let's say I am on eBay and I sell an old pair of shoes or baby clothes that my son doesn't wear anymore. And
They know under the Great Reset, they want to eradicate the underground market.
yes, they do, because and here's the thing. Before Biden passed that bill, if you sold something on eBay, you're fine until you start to have a pattern of 20 more transactions over $20,000, and they say, okay, prove to us it's not a business, prove to us it's not income. Now, if you make one transaction over $600, they're saying, prove to us it's not a gift, prove to us it's not income.
As they press us into a system where we'll only survive by barter.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're trading a bicycle for 2 pigs, well, now it's here into things. That bicycle has a code on it. They're going to know you transferred it.
That's right. They know everything, and that's the thing. So that leads me to another thing. And so they took some flack for this, but they're still doing it under the radar, is the biometric data, right? So the IRS started collecting biometric data for regular taxpayers just trying to access their online IRS account. And then, they got some serious backlash about it and said they were going to stop doing it, but they've already collected 73 million taxpayers' data. And they haven't got rid of it yet. So the thing is, you don't want to give information to the wrong people because they're only going to use it against you, okay? The IRS does not have your back.
Oh, yeah, folks, you think, like, oh, I'll give you all my info. What do I have to hide? No, they twist it against you.
Exactly.
I've learned that these lawsuits, man, they'll take some nonsense thing and turn it into a horrible thing.
100%. So, speaking of that, so, if there's people out there that have some kind of legal settlement, let me talk about a horror story. Hey, this is fabulous, something that I had worked on. One of my first clients, a great guy, was in a workers' comp accident, paralyzed from the neck down. Okay, workers' comp is not taxable per the code. But guess what? The revenue officer assigned to his case was taxing him on non-taxable income. They brought this paralyzed man, fully paralyzed, down to the poverty level, and he had to go collect welfare pay. And when I got in,
That's why so many people are homeless.
yeah, absolutely, because he didn't know that his rights were being violated, right?
Because they don't tell you.
They don't tell you. It's just like the police. Hey, can I look in here even though I don't have the right to? And you say yes, you're consenting to have your rights violated. The IRS uses the exact same logic.
And so you guys are experts in a huge team and a giant. That's just one of your men, 14,000 square feet. It's amazing.
Yeah, we got a lot of people because, well, listen, we got a lot of attorneys, a lot of CPAs, a lot of enrolled agents, and then all the people that work under them, of course, because we don't just deal with the IRS. Now you're lucky in Texas here, there's no income tax. Where I'm from in California, it's the highest in the nation. And we deal with all 50 state taxes as well. So that's why we need to have a varied amount of
We have experts for every area. I was very impressed by guys who play games.
Right.
By the way, nobody's sitting around there playing, playing online solitaire. They're
Hey man, I've been staying there till 9, 10 o'clock at night, because these people want help, and that's what gives me passion. That's what I'm emotional about, Alex. It makes me feel good is knowing.
Isn't it great that you're a lawyer that actually gets to help people and most of them screw people all day? You're actually like giving them the secrets how the insiders are screwing.
Right. Lawyers get a bad name because the ambulance chasers and all them, and they're just trying to screw the hardworking people out of their money. We're trying to put it back in your pocket, and that's what we're going to do.
I'm telling you, I'm so excited about this relationship, JonesTaxRelief.com, and I'm so glad that I recommended you guys people use it. So I called you, and I'm so glad that you got connected with us. It's just meant to happen, folks. JonesTaxRelief.com, 833-900-4285. We'll be right back. next hour, but it's funny you raised this. Last time you just brought up off air how much you liked one of the products and the iodine. And then I said, well, you ought to say that on air. So we came back and you said it. They made a huge, like it was a scandal. You promoted the iodine product.
They tried to say that I'm somehow selling quackery. Iodine is indisputably extremely valuable in terms of boosting natural immunity. There's no dispute about that. All I was pointing out was that the iodine product sold at InfoWars is of the highest quality. I mean, I bought iodine down at, the vitamin shop, and I've ordered it on Amazon, as much as I hate giving Jeff Bezos a penny, but it's not of the quality that you can get at InfoWars. That's all I was saying. They make it sound like this is some kind of hucksterism or that I'm somehow compensated to push these products. No, I said it because I'd just gotten over the Chinese virus, and I was at the point where all I had left was this nagging cough, thanks to ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. I had a quick recovery. That'll ensure that we're banned everywhere, just that I mentioned those. And I talked about the quality of the product. It's a joke.
As a young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, half of this government, are actually young Nobelians absolutely grateful. So we penetrate the cabinets. The change is not just happening. The change can be shaped by us. We have to prepare for a more angry world. How to prepare? To take the necessary action to create a fairer world. I see the need for a great reset. So people assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had, and everything will be normal again. This is, let's say, fiction. It will not happen.
There is only one way this pandemic is going to go. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones.
Give me back my bullets. And that's what your money is your bullets to live your life the way you want.
That's right.
Take care of your family. And I got to tell you, God is so good because we need to fund our operations. And because of supply chain breakdowns, a lot of the products that have been bestsellers are no longer available. And so I've told listeners, hey, you were great. We could fund ourselves a few years ago because the COVID cattywampus and everything. We can. I said, all right, I'll do like every other talk show host does. We have our own network, though, our own infrastructure that costs more. I'm going to go out and get sponsors, but I could snap my fingers and got $10 million like Newsmax
the system for the average layperson is if they even attempt to learn this stuff, they're going to become more confused than when they started because that's how it's written. But they know the rule, they know the actual book, and they have it out to get middle class. But we know the rules too. We will use that actual code against them.
And they come to Jesus quick. They agree with you. That's why it's done. You make an agreement.
100%, Alex, because we have attorneys that make legal determinations to the IRS. When the IRS makes their
resistance. You're listening to Alex Jones.
We saw the announcement last week. Facebook said that you're allowed to call for violence against Russians, period. And then we saw the headlines that German hospitals were denying Russians health care.